father again is the boy in his Bible. That works me very hard, the editor, by the way, I'll just let you know. He doesn't give me much time off. When he gets hold of me, he keeps me. Or I keep him, I'm not quite sure which way it works. We're on Psalm 68. And it's a psalm that starts off that wants God on their side and to be awake because the enemies are near. But there's a verse in here that jumped out at me as a child, and I think you'd readily understand it. I'm going back 60 years when I talk about that, 60, 65, 66, 67 years ago. A long time, isn't it? A father of the fatherless and the judge of the widows is God in his holy habitation. What you have here is a picture of God is in his holy habitation above all things, but sees all things. And he has a special place for the fatherless and the widowed. I was both fatherless and motherless all my life. Did you know I can never remember a conversation with either my father or my mother? My mother came into my life when I was 6 and disappeared when I was 11 and didn't come back till I was nearly 40. We never had a card from her, no, not a telephone call, nothing at all. And my father was a ward of a man of the night, nasty night, gambling, drinking, womanizing. He had no time for his children, except one, of which that was evil. A father of the fatherless, I long for that. I remember this psalm clearly, and I remember this verse clearly, and I underlined it straight away. I pleaded with God that he would be my father. Little did I realize that by the time I had come through the New Testament, I would begin to understand God, not only the God of the Old Testament, but the Father of the fatherless. You have got people in your church who need your love. Families, widows. You've got some who've got difficult times in their families, and they feel as if they don't have a father or the mother. Things have gone wrong. It's not their fault as children. And they don't know how to react, so sometimes they react negatively. And the verse for you today to ring in your soul is that God wants to help you to be a person who is more of a father or a mother figure to somebody else in your church, in your fellowship, in your community, in your neighborhood. I like adopting some of our neighbors. There's one at this moment whose husband had died, and I think I've had 4 or 5 quality conversations with her at the moment, mainly around the monthly meal that we have together as a community. We try to get the community together for a monthly meal, a simple meal, soup and sweet, nothing elaborate, but a time together. Time together that's there. A father of the fatherless, a judge of the widows. Did you know that both in the Old Testament and New Testament, it was the ladies who were put into marriage quite young with an older person, which meant the older person would die when they were quite young. And somebody needed to be their judge, to know what's good for them. And God working through us has always wanted to be the judge, practically evaluating, being sensitive, and demonstrating the love of Christ in our hearts to them. Well, may that be the thought for today. Psalm 68. It's a larger psalm. I think it comes, 35 verses. And it's a full psalm. It's a psalm that gives you the projection of the future. It's a psalm that talks about the ascension of Christ and about how Christ gives you gifts. And one of the gifts he might give you is to be kind to somebody else, like a father, like a mother. This is that kind of psalm. So it needs a bit more patience than the average psalm. Psalm 68, a father of the fatherless.